what I'm on about. That's what I'm on about.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now, on today's show, we're going to take a look back at last night's Premier League games. 3 matches, 3 goals, and 3 talking points. Last piece of news involves Arsenal, and reports are suggesting that Matteo Guendouzi has played his last game for the club.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So, of course, the first place we're going to start are the games over the course of last night. And I'll tell you something, some very, very interesting games. And it's been a bit of a strange one this week with Premier League games going ahead and Arsenal actually getting a week off. So we've actually got a game in hand on a lot of teams now. Not that it's, going to make much difference, but let's go and get into the games. And like I said, there was 3 matches. There were 3 goals, 1 in each game, but there was 3 incidents involving VAR, 1 in each game. First game we're going to get with is West Brom against Everton, and this was a 1-0 win for Everton. Richarlison with another goal. But the VAR incident that we're referring to was in the final seconds of the game. West Brom thought they'd equalised, but then VAR showed that it was offside. Now this is where VAR does work, because it's offside and you can't deny it, you can't have a debate about it. It's good, it's been done correctly, can't say no more than that really. Everton chasing down those Champions League places, and this could be the year that they finish above their neighbours Liverpool. Who would have thought that at the start of the season, the defending champions. But West Brom, it's just another game ticked off before the inevitable, which is relegation to the Championship. Next game is Fulham against Tottenham, and this was a 1-0 win for Spurs. An own goal was enough for them. But I tell you something, there was a big talking point in this game. Fulham equalised, and then VAR ruled it out for handball. Now, if you've not seen this incident, you will never see a more ridiculous decision in your life. It's absolutely ludicrous. I think it was Sanchez that went to clear the ball. The Fulham player must have been 2 yards in front of him. He had his hands down by his side. They never moved. They were in a natural position. And the clearance by Sanchez hit him in the hand. And then he went on to score. It's disallowed for handball. Now, the rules state that a handball, even accidental, which leads to a goal, is to be disallowed. So, in this instance, you've got to look at the rules and say how pathetic, what is actually going on. And then you refer to some incidents in particular that leave you scratching your head and thinking, why was that given but that one not, and this given and that not? And only a few days ago, do you remember the Callum Hudson-Odoi handball against Manchester United that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was fuming about? Why was that not handball when his arm was in an unnatural position? Somebody please make it make sense, because I genuinely do not understand anymore. I honestly don't. I don't think anybody knows what the rules are with handball. Fulham can feel so aggrieved by that, because they were the better team by far. And Tottenham are very, very lucky to go away from Craven Cottage with 3 points. Harry Kane was diving, and they got very lucky. It's as simple as that. They got very, very lucky. But Fulham, they're still not out of that, reckoning to, get survival in the Premier League. But, yeah, they're going to have to keep winning games, and soon. And, a point would have probably done them good. But they get nothing out of it. Last game was the big one of the evening, and it was Liverpool against Chelsea, and this was a 1-0 win for Chelsea, and it was fully deserved. Liverpool, 5 home defeats in the Premier League in a row. What on earth has happened to them? This has to be possibly the worst title defence in Premier League history. It's absolutely shambolic, and you can't keep blaming injuries and things like that anymore. The performances are just shambolic, and Chelsea deserved to win, but again there was a VAR contentious moment in this. Timo Werner scored, and then VAR ruled it out for offside. Now I'd love to banter Chelsea, and I would love to, laugh about it. But it wasn't offside. Who draws the lines at Stockley Park and on the VAR screens? And it's like, you're basically giving offside when you're level now. Level is onside, or it was onside. I honestly don't get this anymore. It's just making a mockery. It's just leaving everybody scratching their heads and looking at English officials and thinking, what shambles. How poor. But listen, Chelsea, they fully deserved the win. They were the better side by a million miles. Jurgen Klopp took off Mo Salah after about 60 minutes, I think it was. And Liverpool were just not great at all. In terms of the Premier League table, what does that do? Manchester City, they're miles at the top. They've won the Premier League. Chelsea go into the top 4. Everton in 5th. They're a point behind but have a game in hand. West Ham in 6th. They are 2 points behind but they have a game in hand. Liverpool in 7th on 43 points. Tottenham in 8th on 42 points with a game in hand. Aston Villa have 2 games in hand on most of those clubs, bar Everton and West Ham. And they're on 39 points. And then Arsenal on 37 with a game in hand. Those European places are hotting up big time. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens for the remainder of the season. Last piece of news involves Arsenal, and reports are suggesting that Matteo Guendouzi is not expected to play for Arsenal again, as the club prepare to offload him for around about £25 million this summer. The 21-year-old is on a season-long loan at Hertha Berlin after plummeting down the pecking order at Arsenal. Sources have told Football Insider that Mikel Arteta has made it clear Guendouzi is not part of his plans for next season. That is regardless of how he performs in the Bundesliga, where he has been a mainstay of the starting 11. Arsenal set a £30 million price tag on Guendouzi last summer after he was frozen out of their team following a fallout with Arteta. That price has now been slashed to £25 million. I think this is pretty straightforward stuff, to be honest. I think this is kind of what we already knew. Guendouzi was given an opportunity by Mikel Arteta to apologise and to, get his head down and try and, force himself back into the side. But he's a petulant little brat and refused to apologise. And I think that, until he grows up, he's going to have these problems throughout his career. He had the problems before he joined Arsenal when he was at Lorient. He had the problems with Unai Emery. He had the problems with Mikel Arteta. And even at Hertha Berlin in Germany, he's had problems there with a new manager saying that Guendouzi, his attitude is that of a teenager going through puberty. How many managers is that? It's very simple what the common denominator is here. Guendouzi. Till he grows up, he will never, ever, ever, get anywhere. It's as simple as that. I just move on. We can get better anyway. And it is what it is. So there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think about today's topics. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.